Morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, the 26th of May. We are Signal Centre Talking Ball. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined by Steve O'Hare and Ian Coleman. Morning, gents.
Morning all.
Morning.
All good?
Yeah, all
Yeah,
good. All
Nice
good.
weekend?
Very nice. Lovely.
Good,
Very
wasn't it?
nice long weekend.
Got
Did you
around to
miss me on
golfing.
Friday? Did you?
Yeah,
How was
yeah.
that?
I went to play with my dad, and he told me just as we started, he'd been golf twice in the week. So he had his eye in already, and he just spanked me around the golf course, basically.
Did he?
Yeah.
is
Does
it
he
members?
normally beat you?
No, not normally.
Is it members only?
No, there's a few places near me that are doing sort of short-term memberships, 3 months for like 300 quid or something,
Oh right.
which is not too bad. But this is a sort of you can after 1 o'clock non-members can play, and Twilight's about 18 quid or something, so it's pretty good.
Hmm. One of the
Uh,
local ones that's got a gym is doing tee off times, £100 per tee off time. Which
wow.
if you've got a four ball is all right, but you're only allowed to play with two. So it's all of a sudden it's sort of doubled the prices.
Yeah, that's not great.
No,
Um, okay, everything. Anybody else do anything at the weekend?
no,
Not
pretty
really.
much slaved away.
Had a day off Friday, Steve.
Yeah, it was nice.
Good.
Hangover wasn't too bad,
That's all right
but
then.
it seemed to get worse over the weekend.
Just kept topping it up.
Building up
Yeah,
on it.
can't help it. I think the good weather, just it's sort of there's only one refreshing drink you can have. Well, there's two
Absolutely.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
beer and
two.
gin and tonic.
Yeah, that's it. Couple
Okay.
of beers.
So should we kick off with some analysis? Anybody got anything they want to talk about first up?
Um, I'll just have the one market I'm looking at this morning. One of the free trade idea that posted was Euro Yen.
Yep.
Just quite like it, mainly on the intraday move we've sort of seen, but even on the weekly basis, we've sort of obviously in this downward trend in resistance is a little way above, but we've seen a nice little turnaround at the bottom here, an inverted hammer, and then a push higher. This is the weekly chart. So over the last 4 weeks, we've seen a bit of a rejection from this retest of the previous lows back in 2017. So the momentum's to the upside. We've got this shorter term bearish channel as well, finding a little bit of resistance around the cloud cover here. We've got posted a shooting star on the 21st, a little bit of a sell-off, but again reacting higher this morning and yesterday. The hourly chart is the really one that sort of I quite like the look of, just on this short-term break of the resistance here around 117.55. We've got a bespoke support coming in at 17.50, and on the intraday trade idea, I was looking to buy a dip really on a move, hoping to get a little bit of a dip back to almost a break of, you could call it a neckline, and just a little test below there before it sort of continues higher. So it's a corrective sequence I'm looking to trade. So it's against the longer term trend, but there seems to be sort of decent potential in euro yen at the moment.
Lovely.
Cool. I was looking at the yen pairs as well. Sterling looking as though it's forming a bit of a bottom in the short term potentially. It's a bit speculative, but this is what I was looking at sterling on sterling yen, was this potential for an inverse head and shoulders bottom, which is broken up through the neckline this morning. Stalling a little bit at the minute, but possible opportunities to buy a retest down to 131.82.
Mm.
I quite like that. I also was looking at sterling yen, another one that's sort of forming some sort of rounded bottom potentially around here. A
Sterling Swiss.
break, sorry, sterling Swiss, and that's broken up through 1.1878 and had a little bit of a pullback to retest that breakout level. So
Mm.
that looks quite interesting as well.
Yeah, I love cable. I looked at this morning as well, and I'm sort of like see the same sort of pattern on cable, but really thinking about maybe selling into the resistance.
So
No,
look
it's
at the
just cable still
basket.
feels a little, yeah, cable still feels a little bit under pressure, doesn't it? It's just
This
this
is the
nice but it's a nice little reaction higher.
sterling basket. I mean, it's obviously been absolutely slammed, hasn't it? But
Mm.
yeah, potential there for some sort of rounded
Yeah,
bottom taking place. I do think it's likely to be short lived, and I wouldn't be ready to buy back, in the long term, because clearly, the trend is lower, but there is potential there for that to have broken out, maybe, of this
Yeah.
downtrend, and then, maybe a corrective move higher in the short term.
Yeah, nice.
Ian, what are you looking at, mate?
Dollar CAD. This is the weekly chart. So commodity currencies have a tendency to extend to 423.6%, which it did. And then we've seen this move, pretty choppy move, lower. If we go to this time frame, is it a triangle, a symmetrical triangle, or is it a descending triangle? Obviously, a symmetrical triangle is a bit harder to trade. A descending triangle has a bias to break to the downside, but looking at this, we've got a previous swing low located at 138.66, and we've got our bespoke support located at 138.68. So I think we're just going to get an intraday bounce, not long term, but I'm looking to sort of buy dips down here on our free trade idea today.
Okay.
Nice.
Anything else?
No, just oil sort of obviously. Indices, yeah. I mean, they had a decent bounce over the weekend, didn't they?
Yeah. Yesterday, particularly.
Despite all the crap that's going on in Hong Kong still.
Yeah. You have got them two sort of like that risk play, haven't you? And but the bank's buying whatever they've got to buy, shitloads of stuff.
Anything they can get their hands on.
Exactly. So I mean, you can't argue against it. Is that it's just that's the buyer in the market at the moment, and unfortunately, well, fortunately for some, but yeah, we all know that these prices are overinflated and overdone, but you can't. If there's a big buyer in the house, that you can't sort of do anything about it. Just got to wait till he runs out of bullets.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody's assuming that everything's going to go back to normal, and obviously there is going to be an element of some normality coming back. But there's going to be a hell of a lot of trust issues, I think, that are going to take a while for people to overcome, and to get back to the sort of previous habits that they've had. Going to shops, going to pubs, going to restaurants. Is everyone going to just flock straight back to these places?
And that's the ones that have got jobs.
I am.
Yeah, you still got a job.
Prop it up.
But I think there's a lot of sort of like redundancies to come, and sort of uncertainty for corporations, smaller businesses. So this is going to play out over a longer period of time.
So we had the update yesterday from Boris, and he said that there is a sort of roadmap to a couple of stages along, and there'll be shops starting to reopen, and also car showrooms.
Right.
I don't know how many people are going to be flocking out to buy a new car.
No, not when you sort of think we
can't drive anywhere.
Yeah.
And you're worried about your business and your income and all that sort of stuff. I understand, obviously they've got to get stuff, try and get stuff working, but
apart from that couple that travelled from Manchester to Southend.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday to get on the beach.
Really?
Yeah, they were on the news. They were on the news being interviewed
as well.
Really, that far? I mean, why? There must be a beach closer to them, surely.
Surely nicer ones in Norfolk. You don't have to travel that far then, do you?
No. Weird.
Yeah, so underlying concerns over the US-China relations, they remained an important factor in currency markets. The dollar is not looking too great today. It's having a bit of a sell-off. There were further strong protests over the weekend in response to China's proposed new security laws, and Hong Kong's security chief called for measures to be implemented as soon as possible. So that's, you would have thought, going to have some impact on markets, but looking at equities, it's just completely shrugging it off.
Yeah. As I say, it's really difficult, isn't it? You've got these different risk events going on. The dollar benefits from some and doesn't from the others. So, yeah, weird old place we're in.
Yeah. Okay, so gun to the head, it was just myself and Ian last week. I was stopped on the DAX, and Ian, you were pretty much flat on dollar index from what I can see. There was
not
much to talk about.
Didn't really move from 8 o'clock, did it?
No. So not really much progress made. A small bit of a dip on the overall P&L. Let's just show that quickly.
So you missed me then, yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You're on the upward trajectory. Ian and I are taking a bit of
Oh,
a dip.
have we just met each other?
Yeah,
Oh,
nearly. We're within an R of each other.
And
I'm sure. I'm sure
0.75.
Joe's had a little fiddle with that to make sure he stays at the top.
Steve's the man in form at the minute. So have you got something for us this morning?
Yeah, I mean, what this trade we've been triggered on this morning, euro dollar, and I was looking at these, this sort of like just bounce. It's an inverse head and shoulders formation. 109.25 we entered this morning. It's continued higher. I think there is a potential for a little bit of a recovery, but we've got decent resistance up around the 110, 17 level. And even before that, at the 110, 110.06 it is comes in at. So I'm going to jump on this one. It's already, as I say, we're already long on the intraday. 109.34. Let's get this. And I'm going to target a move to 110. The figure. 110 the figure, and we can bring the stop in, get a little bit nice. 14. How will that look? 3.3R. So the stop's at 110. 109.14. Target 110.
Okay, nice. Ian, should I go or you want to go?
Yeah, no, you go, mate.
Okay, so just following on from what we were talking about sterling, that there is potential for a short-term bottom to have taken shape. This is sterling Swiss. Not quite completed this head and shoulders that I've drawn on the screen here, but it has broken out above this bit of price action here, so that high from the 21st of May. We've seen a pullback to retest it at that level at 1878. So I'm going to buy that now at 1886. Target a move to 1.2000 with a stop loss at 1860. So 4.45R, if I should be so lucky.
Nice.
Cool. Ian, over to you. He's on mute.
I was going to say I struggled really, but I'm going to from current levels anyway. But I'm going to look at Bitcoin.
That's always the go-to trade if you're struggling.
It does have a tendency to track stocks, and obviously stocks are moving higher, so dips have been bought into. But I think that's going to be short-lived. As far as sort of a longer time frame is concerned, it looks like it's sort of broken this expanding wedge that has a bias to move to the upside. The measured move is actually up here, which is 138.80. And if we go to this time frame, 261.8% is not far from that. So I think over the long term, it's going to move higher. But as far as Elliott wave is concerned, is this wave 1, 2, 3? And if this is 4, it should come lower in a choppy formation, three-way formation. So I'd prefer to get short at 91.25, but this is going to the head, so I can't. 89.45. Do get some erratic moves, so I will go for 79.70 and a stop placed at, got to get it just above there, and 91.90. So just under 4R.
Okay, good luck. Okay, so day ahead, bit of data out today. We've got US Chicago Fed Index, which is forecast to rise to -3 from -4.2 in the previous month. That's at 1:30. We then have at 3 o'clock US new home sales and also consumer confidence for the US. Sales expected to fall 17% month on month, and confidence is expected to rise to -62 from -73. So keep an eye on your US dollar crosses come 3 p.m. today. Anybody else seen anything of note?
No, not really.
No, just I see the sun
Mm.
outside the window.
Tempting, isn't it?
Yeah, factor 50 on again today.
Yes. Okay, right. Let's wrap it up then, I guess,
All right,
guys.
lovely.
Right. Catch you all tomorrow.
Yeah, have a good one.
Cheers.
Best of luck.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.